Found it. All right. Welcome, everyone, to our October Roundtable here at the Olympic District. I want to welcome everyone to the meeting tonight. And for those of you that don't know, we are now sharing these recordings wide, not just on Facebook in the Olympic group, but we also are posting them on the Council YouTube page. So for those of you guys that have folks that can't make it, don't want to use Facebook, invite them to watch these videos after the fact on YouTube and spread the word so we can get more people learning about what we're doing here in Roundtable. With that, I am going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we're going to go ahead and get started off with, as we always do, with our pledge, oath, and law. This one, and this, and that, and boom. Everybody can see my screen, right? If you're giving me a thumbs up, I can't see you.
Those in uniform, please salute. Those who are not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
All right. Okay. So give me just one sec. Ooh, let's get that out of the way. Okay. So first and foremost, we are going to start off with some quick announcements of what we got going on in the wide world of Olympic District and Pacific Harbors Council. So, for those of you guys who don't know, we are now officially kicking off the recharter season. So, I hope you guys are getting ready and doing your going through your rosters and starting that recharter process. As a reminder, for those of you that don't have some questions about it, please feel free to take a look at the video we posted from our August roundtable where we discuss the recharter process in great detail with our council registrar, Cindy Iverson. So, with that, um, and the next coming up, I want to thank everybody. I hope everybody that came out. For those of you that did come out to our the Rainier District camporee that we had over the weekend at Camp Thunderbird, had a good time. I know I had fun. Um, Even though it wasn't too cold, it wasn't too rainy. I think it was just right. So that was a good time for all. And coming up next month, we have our our district roundtable. We will have that, but we will also, more importantly, have the district night hike, November 10th through the 11th at Camp Thunderbird and Points Beyond, run by me. So, you guys have questions? Um, please feel free to ask them to me. You can shoot me an email, or you can feel free to ask right now if you have any questions. Anybody? Anybody want to know about night hike? Okay. And with that, I didn't give him any preference here, but Darren, is there anything else that you think I'm missing and you would like to share? If
Sorry, I was jumping around on some other screens.
that's all right.
No, like you already said, we got the recharter coming up. We're asking units to get those turned in by 15 November, at least the paperwork portion. Doing it a little differently this year. You can get the paperwork turned in and not worry about the money. So we can make sure that we have all the application, get it all in the system. And then Cindy will send you back an invoice or let you know what the cost is. Because last year we had a lot of units pay, and then we either had to reimburse them or they had to pay more. It got a little confusing. So, of course, if you do it online and pay everything online, and then have to get reimbursed, we have to go through national to get that done for you.
Yeah. So please, please, please don't pay online. Click the pay later button. And as well, on that note as well, guys, you can also please feel free to submit online first and make sure your rosters are updated and everything's correct and everybody's got their white BT. Submit, and then Cindy will reach out to you guys with the invoice and information to make sure you guys are paying the appropriate amount. Um,
And then just popcorn, whatever. If you're doing popcorn, Tracy's been sending out a lot of information on popcorn
mhm.
and on the popcorn Facebook page.
Do you
If
mean
if you
popcorn?
owe or whatever, if you owe money, please get that turned in.
It's not showing up. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Popcorn. There it is.
There you go.
I ordered some online from one of my nephews, and my girlfriend ordered from my other nephew. But okay. Real quick as well, I believe I have another announcement from Tim who wanted to talk. So Tim, take it away once you unmute. Oh, Tim, are you there? Okay. Do we have a Tim? Maybe we don't, but that's okay. But I believe what Tim wanted, one of the things Tim wanted to talk about was um, coming up in January is our annual Olympic District Klondike Derby held at Camp Thunderbird. That's where all the cool kids go to go get all their Klondike excitement for the winter and get some winter camping in and participate and get some fun prizes and have some fun activities. But okay, so we will circle back to Tim in case he comes back. I know he said he messaged me saying he's at another meeting right now as well. So but on that note, we'll circle back with Tim. I'm going to turn it over to our new roundtable commissioner, Mark Daniel, who's actually over here, and I'm going to let him talk about our main topic for the evening.
All right, this evening we're going to talk about the Jamboree on the Air. Remember, please put in the chat group what unit you're with and your unit number. Right, we're going to do the safety moment. We're going to do digital safety and online safety for scouting activities. Remember, follow all youth protection policies. All youth protection policies still apply in an online environment. Use business-oriented conference platforms that include good safety and privacy features instead of platforms with other primary purposes. Regular review and implement the latest security features of your chosen platform to avoid unauthorized visitors or other security issues in your meetings. Like with Jamboree on the Air, we made sure we had 2 deep leadership at all times when the scouts were talking on the radio, and on the with the JOTI on their when they were talking on the computer. Do not record online activities meetings that include youth participants. Recording of online activities that only involve adults is subject to local council legal review and approved. Check with your local council for guidance. Always safeguard your personal information. Collecting personal information from youth under 13 is not recommended. And that would be our safety moment. And now we're going to talk about JOTI, JOTA. And I was looking into last year how to earn the International Spirit Award. And the one of the main requirements is doing a jamboree on the air. And when I looked into doing a jamboree on the air, not very many people from council knew much or anything about hosting one or how to set one up. So we, PAC 4014 out here in Elma, started doing a annual jamboree on the air. So basically it is, you got to find a ham radio operator or ham operating club to work with if you don't have anybody that's ham or ham radio operated in your unit. And then you basically have a joint event with them and host and do a Jamboree on the Air, which is a worldwide activity. And it's the scouting's largest event right now. And so I was gonna open it up. Does anybody have any questions about Jamboree on the Air? Because there's not that much information in detail out there about Jamboree on the Air. The way we ran it was we basically did a field day. And so when the scouts weren't bored, we had it where they were doing round robins with Morse code, with American Sign Language. They were doing coding. They were doing all different activities. And when somebody came on the net to talk, we would send a runner to go get some of the scouts to talk on the radio. One of the biggest issues that we ran into this year with Jamboree on the Air is when you're trying to use Echolink, which is the biggest way to talk around the world. You use JOTI 365 is the noon you use, but it is so stacked with scouts and scout units that you're waiting and waiting and waiting to get a hold of another scout on the radio or on the mic. So what do you guys have any experiences of Jamboree on the Air?
I know we did a little, not quite as exciting version of it, but a little mini version of it at the Camporee this weekend. I know the kid, and they were slammed at that. And we had them set up there in the I can't think of the name now. The smaller building there across from the DLO.
Hal
Hal
Lewis.
Lewis.
Thank you, Hal Lewis. You'd think I'd remember after 20 years of going to the camp, I'd remember the names of the buildings. But apparently not today. But we had it. Yeah, that's the only time I've ever really seen it. I've never really had a chance to go to it before.
And I actually Stan, the gentleman from the Pacific Pierce County Search and Rescue Team, he contacted me, and we actually helped him set up his program because he was like he had never done a JOTA before, and so he was trying to ask us how it was going, and I talked to him yesterday, and he's like, yeah, it was a bit crazy, but he is yeah, it's very difficult because it falls under the International Scouting Committee, and there is a radio scouting, and there's K2BSA, which is supposed to cover down on the JOTI JOTA. But a lot of times they want to send you to a radio club, but the radio club doesn't have a link between the BSA and the radio club. So that's what we're trying to grow, and that's why I asked you to do this roundtable. Is so we could grow the JOTI JOTA. I did talk to Ron Francis yesterday, and he is going to put us on the calendar and for an upcoming event for next year's. And we're thinking about doing a huge Jamboree on the Air out here at the Grace Harbor Fairgrounds. So while they're doing the fall camporee at Thunderbird, the Cubs will have an activity for that. I said that before I talked to Darren, and I have a call out to Darren. I know he's on the call, but yeah. And so do you guys have any questions or ideas that you guys think you should want to do at Jamboree on the Air? I know they did one at Thunderbird, and we're trying to obviously grow grow it bigger and better. And like we talked to 50 different countries when we did our JOTA, which is really good. That's very decent. I think each scout had 15 contacts. So and so yeah, we're trying to get it out, that get it going. And basically there's a lot of questions and answers for JOTA. There's about 700 different things, because you can use there's HF frequencies, and there's VHF frequencies, and there's UHF frequencies, and then there's the internet, which is Echolink. And
Skype.
I could talk. There you go. Thanks, William.
Dude, we Skyped with a troop in Australia.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. Besides the time difference, they were super tired, but the kids thought it was awesome. And so there's a few other ways. There's other links too. There's like WinLink, which I'd have to do some more research on. And so and there's an established number of frequencies used by JOTA, but because there's so many people on there, it's exactly like Mark said. You know, you're waiting your turn patiently, and so
so that's why we do a lot of stations. We built up kind of like our own camporee kind of thing. Did numerous stations to wait until it was our turn to talk. Like Dubai did an online campfire, but there was 6,000 people waiting to get online. So it was kind of like, when it finally got on, it was like 3 hours later and there was nobody there. Yeah.
So Mark, Daniel, let me ask you this. So when you guys are doing these events and you're talking to scouts and stuff all over the world, what are some of the things that the youth are talking about with some of the other youth in the different parts of the world?
Oh yeah, a lot of them. Like we print out a question list so they know what to talk about and what not to talk about. William made us one. It was like, what's your name, where you're from, what unit you're in, what you like to do, what sports do you play, basic information. So they're not putting out any information like, what's your address? Oh
yeah, so no school district, we didn't tell them what school we went to, or full names, first names only, ages only, to keep it, safe enough to where they couldn't find us. But I mean, they do have our pack, name, pack, age. So
yeah, well,
yeah.
But there could be a lot of different Pack 44 teams out there in the world.
Exactly.
But cool. So how long do you guys normally stay on the air when you're doing the event?
We were on the air from 9 o'clock until close to 9 o'clock, doing shifts between dens to get ultimate exposure. Like William can explain a little bit more, but we had early in the morning, we had Japan or Australia, I can't remember which one, but then later in the day we had Europe. And then so to maximize your who you can talk to, we started a little bit on Friday, and then we did almost all day into the evening on Saturday, and just rotated who we could pick up. A lot of it was the JOTI and the Skype, I think, right, William?
Yeah, because we didn't have that, our ham operators, we didn't have that many of them. In fact, we had one most of the time. And so with that lack of control operators, we didn't do much HF, but we did do some UHF and some VHF, mostly stuff that they'd set up. but for the most part, we did Echolink. And we did, like Mark was saying, we started talking with Australia and then they went to sleep and then they came back by the end of it. We were talking to them again. It was kind of weird because that was something that a lot of the contacts would tell us is what the time and weather is what they would tell us. And so it was kind of cool to see, Japan come on, Japan drop, Malaysia come on, Malaysia drop, India, Germany. We had a German on at midnight.
The guy from Philippines, right?
Trinidad. That guy was he was very fun. He was camping in a gymnasium at a school with 13 scouts, but his scouts had went to sleep, so he was just a leader talking to other scouts.
Very cool.
And we talked to a couple pilots. We were trying to get a space station, but it's hard because it was where they're at, where they are at in the sky. They were cutting out quite a bit, and so
that's pretty cool, though. I never got to talk to the space station.
yeah, and that's yeah, it's been a learning curve because not really anybody's a subject matter expert at JOTI, JOTA, and so a lot of it is because a lot of it, like the patches, you have to get them from the World Scouting Office. So I had to order them from the International Scout Shop, or when we were when you log, because you have to you go on to the World Scouting Organization website, and the way you log the scouts is you have to create an account, and then you can add a group. You add your group, and when you add your group, then you can log each scout that's going to attend. So then that's how you then you can get, then they'll send the scout a certificate. But that's how you can also log your contacts. Like I spent Monday inputting who and what each scout who they talk to on the radio, so then they can get they get a little certificate that says, oh, you talk to these people. It's just you have to go to the World Scouting website to do it, which there's a link on Scout BSA, but it's down in the corner. But that's how, and then also you can go in there and go to K2BSA, and that you can get a specific call sign for Jamboree on the Air. And you can do that at any time. You can do a Jamboree on the Air. It doesn't have to be that third weekend of October. It could be, you could set one up in March and get a call sign. It's just you'd have to be doing it on your own, and that, like, the third weekend of October is when everybody does the Jamboree on the Air. So you're going to get scouts. So there's a lot of, like, I think, what was that scout camp in Oklahoma, William, that we talked to? And they were really set up. They
I don't have that with me, but it's something Scout Ranch in Oklahoma. There was them, and then there was a Australian group that seemed to have it really together. That was on there. I'd have to find my notes.
But yeah,
well, that's pretty cool. Excuse me. So where might folks go if they wanted to learn more about Jamboree on the Air?
There is a spot on the Scouts BSA webpage that has all the information. It has and all you have to do is put in JOTI, JOTA, and it has everything you need. Jamboree on the internet for scouting leaders, Jamboree on the air for scouting leaders. It has every hard document and questions that you need. Oh, and to get all the information, because it won't have the answers for like what frequencies you need and all what radios you need. In order to do that, you have to get a hold of a ham radio operator.
So there's other you can go to K2BSA, which is a radio scouting website. You can also go to World of Scouting, their website. You'd have to search in there for JOTA JOTI. And then there's also a website that is just JOTA JOTI on top of the BSA. But it's a lot of disjointed information. You kind of have to search, and some of it's old and some of it's up to date. And so it's a little bit of research. To circle back to the John Nichols Scout Ranch in Oklahoma, we made a lot of contacts with them. And then the Australian, all I have is their call sign, Victor Kilo 4 Bravo uniform. And we spoke to them quite a bit.
But yeah, with the link on Scouts BSA, and like William said, K2 BSA will show you how to run a Jamboree on the air and the information you need to be on Jamboree on the air. But you basically need a ham radio operator to guide you, because if and at least a technician license, because William is only a technician license and he did almost all of it for us this year. And or a ham club. And if you go to the BSA website and put in JOTA, it has a link that you can click on and it'll find you your local ham radio club. The issue thing is there's a lot more out there that's on that than there is on that, as you probably know, is that's on that link.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So
I have a question. Is it still considered a jamboree if you just hook up with like one other unit? Or is that, I don't know, because having this all day thing with my cubs sounds a little overwhelming. I know you did it, but like, yeah.
You are correct. It is overwhelming, and that's why we're trying to make it a council event and have it where you guys bring the cubs just like a fall camporee or something like that, where the units would bring the scouts to Elma or wherever we have the event at, and they do their 2 hours of jamboree on the air, and then you guys can go home. And they call it a jamboree on the air because it's a worldwide thing. So everybody's contributing to the jamboree, whether they're whether they're at the event or not. You're talking to other scouts from throughout the world. Is the answer I got, is why they consider it a jamboree.
Okay, so it's in the works that maybe next year, because you said third weekend in October. Is that what we're saying?
We've done it the last 2 years in a row. And so this year we're working with, I called council yesterday, or Ron Francis yesterday, the council program chairman, to put it on the calendar starting now, so we can start working for it for next year.
That sounds awesome. We'd go to Elma. Just saying.
And yeah, I booked the Grace Harbor Fairgrounds. I have to wait because I have to get approval from my district DE, Darren. So I put a call into him, and I will work. We're working for him, so it's not a guaranteed event yet.
Who's this guy you're trying to get a hold of? I don't know him.
You know who he
I
is.
saw your call. I've just been busy and I forgot to call you back, to be honest with you. I saw my phone. Is there a cost that is the council incurring any cost rental or anything? You just need someone to say, go for it.
Uh, I do not have a budget right now, but our budget this year, it was just for the campsite. And so I'm working with the fairgrounds right now, and I don't have a cost right now from the fairgrounds, but
you're looking at running all the revenue and expenses through the council.
No.
Okay, that if you're making it a council event, then we'd have to set the budget up. But if the unit's running this and just other units are coming, it's more like a multi-unit event. That's fine. So if that's what you're doing, go for it. Bless God, and 16 other people is my witness. I said you can do it.
All right, Aaron. Thank you. There you go, William. You got your approval.
Let me know what we can do to support that. Like I said, we just can't run any finances through the council.
No, yeah, and we I'm pretty sure the fairgrounds will let us. They're pretty good to us out here in Illinois. But
so,
yeah,
how many I guess how many different youth did you guys have come through this year for like locally to the fairgrounds? Or
we didn't do it at the
oh, sorry,
fairgrounds.
not the fairgrounds, at the park. Sorry,
We did it at Ocean Shore State Park, and that's why we're moving it next year to Elma, because it conflicted. A lot of the units that we were going to have come out, it conflicted with the camporee, and some of the leadership were on both sides of the troop and the pack. So we're trying. That's why we had Rochester came out, and so they did their thing. We had we had two scouts from or they're not scouts yet, but potential scouts from Aberdeen come out but last year when we did it in Elma, we had four different Olympic district units, and that's why we're moving it back to Elma this coming up year.
okay. So, talk to me a little bit about the International Spirit Award.
Okay, well, the International Spirit Award obviously is a award that Tiger and above scouts can get, and it's basically about being a scout. It's being involved in the World Scouting Organization. So one of the ones is earn your Cub Scout World Conservation Award. Learn 10 words in a different in a different language. One of them's play 2 games from a country, in 2 games from a different country, and then participate in a jamboree on the air. Organize a World Friendship Fund collection. And then there's a whole bunch of other ones at the bottom that you need to learn about a passport. Learn about the World Organization Scouting Movement. Read your most current international department newsletter, which that's all on that World Scouting Organization www.scout.org. It's all, you can get all of that information on there, but it's getting the International Spirit Award is to get you more involved into into the world scouting movement and international scouting, knowing what all the other scouts from other countries are doing. And it's basically, you don't have to earn it in 1 year. You can earn it all through, from 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 Cubs you can earn it, from Tiger to Arrow of Light, and then you can earn. Then they have a different requirements for Scouts and Sea Scouts and Venture Scouts. Yeah, yeah. Like our unit is going to do a world scouting evening where we make food from different countries, because that's like when we do our blue and gold ceremony, we have the scouts do a potluck and they bring food from a country of their heritage. Some and then once you complete it, then you have to turn it in and get it signed off from the international representative, which our council does not have one right now, so we're waiting.
Well, technically we have two, actually.
Oh, well, that's not what Tracy told me, but it's okay.
Oh no, that's odd that Tracy said. We definitely have two.
Okay.
Gosh, what? Oh, I'm totally blanking on their name. I'm blanking on, I could picture both of their faces right now.
Because I know David Cohen was one.
Oh, is he not doing it anymore? Because last I heard he was still doing it.
When I talked to him about Jamboree on the Air a month ago, he told me he was retired. But I don't know. But that's basically who you turn it into Tracy, and then she gets it signed. You can't just go onto Scout Book and click it off and get it front and go order it. The form has to be filled out, has to be turned into Tracy. Tracy gets the rest of the signatures, and then it gets then you get the award. But it's a pretty cool award, and the kids have fun. The Scouts have fun doing it. See, one of them is help organize or participate in 2 Jamboree on the Air or Jamboree on the Internet events. That's for scouters. So like William, he'd already be marked off for one of those, and then organize a world friendship fund collection, which is basically go on the scout.org website, and you see what they have a flyer on there that tells them, okay, because I think 2 years ago they were collecting shoes to send the money to for kids for the Middle East. This year it's different, and they haven't updated the flyer yet, but that's the gist of the International Spirit Award. It has there's a lot, yeah.
Well, that's all pretty cool and pretty exciting. Does anybody have any questions about the International Spirit Award or Jamboree on the Air or Jamboree on the Internet? Going around the room. Going around the room. Okay. Well, now I think now we got Tim back, so I'm gonna loop back. I want to loop back in and let Tim talk for a minute.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Hi, everybody. I'm on board to talk about Klondike. Klondike is going to be happening January 26th to 28th. It is going live tonight at midnight. Registration costs is $35 per person until January 3rd. Then it goes up to $45 per person until closing, which is 10 days before Klondike. And don't ask me the date because I don't remember at the top of my head. Essentially, what Klondike is all about is you're testing the three main areas that associates with Pathfinder. So you got all this camping, orienteering, pioneering, everything associated with Pathfinder you'll find at Klondike. So that's the skills area. Then the other two areas that are tested is the patrol and the patrol leader. It is kind of a tense event for the scouts, but it's within a controlled environment. I know a lot of folks would ask, what about the weather? Is it always going to be cold? Well, at that time of year, it's always cold. But what I always hope for is a little bit of everything, and that way, it's all spread around. In the registration, actually backing up a little bit, in the last several years, I've had what's called the pre-Klondike packet, which is loaded with all sorts of information that will ease a lot of the tension and strain when it comes to preparing your units to go to Klondike. And it's kind of set up in a step-by-step basis on what to expect as soon as you arrive at camp and things you might be needing, what station you're going to be doing, how the camping setup is going to be, parking, etc. Does anybody have any questions?
So Tim, if I was a new scoutmaster, why would I want to go to bring my troop to Klondike?
It is a great opportunity for the scouts within your unit to grow. It's a very specific special event that really tests the skills that they've learned in scouting.
Well, Tim, okay, but if I'm a new patrol leader, am I gonna have a good time with my patrol?
Well, yes, you should.
I should.
Oh, absolutely. So that's the one thing that I don't really push on is, as hard as it might sound, Klondike, it might be a competition, but I also want them to have fun. I want them to do their best, but hey, they're out there doing scouting. What can be much funner than that?
Great opportunity for a new scoutmaster or a new patrol leader to see what other units are doing and interact with other units while having fun.
Excellent. All right. So we got a couple questions, Tim. First is Matt. Matt, go ahead.
Mine is just a comment. So last year when I took over the troop, I took over like October, about a year ago, and we went to Klondike, and probably 80% of my kids had been in the troop less than 2 months, and that was their first event. And they were a little nervous, scared at first, but then we went and they had a blast. They placed in a couple of the competitions. They got to learn the patrol method, and that really seemed to ignite their passion for doing more scouting stuff throughout the year. So I recommend the event, even if kids are brand spanking new. It's really good team building. It's really good camping experience, and Tim puts on a lot of really good stations out there.
Excellent. All right. Sarah, go ahead.
So we were actually just talking about this. I'm at my troop meeting right now. It came up because there are some new scouts that just did the camporee this weekend, and they said, well, we didn't know things. And so Scoutmaster was able to say, yeah, now you can plan on learning all of these things for Klondike. And so now the patrols have, the new scouts in particular, have a trajectory, and they have something to aim for. My kids, the Klondike was the very first thing we went to in this council, and they absolutely loved it. So it was a high bar coming from Arizona with some pretty outstanding campouts, and they really loved it. So definitely nothing but praise and high anticipation for future Klondike.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Sarah. I would also like to point out the Klondike is topped off with another personal favorite of mine. It's not as good as Pinewood Derby. Pinewood Derby is still my all-time absolute favorite thing in all of scouting. I love Pinewood Derby. I love those little wooden cars, but Klondike, we end with the sled race, which is also fun, especially when everybody starts falling over and just going sideways. It's a hoot. And by the way, our Klondike, unlike the Rainier District Klondike, does not come with snow most of the time. So I would strongly recommend putting tires on your sled. Wheels.
It comes with mud.
Comes with mud.
Tim,
Which is
just so
like
you know, talking with Rainier, they don't have anybody leading their Klondike, so you may get some interest from Rainier to come to yours if you can have the room.
We have plenty.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't mind, but I just wanted to give you that heads up.
Hey, Darren, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I'm not gonna run that event.
So he says.
No, I don't want to run Klondike. I'll just make Tim come. If you make
Come
me
on,
do it,
John, you got this. You got this, John.
If I do it, I'm just gonna make Tim come do it with me. All right. Well, thank you, Tim. We appreciate your insight about Klondike, and we are all excited and we are enthusiastic about Klondike. So,
Can I, if you don't mind, I just want to give
please.
Tim kudos and the rest of you too. We're actually getting to a point now where it's only October and we've already got something on the books and old registration ready to open 4 months ahead of time, and we're working on even expanding that distance between registration. You'll see the Cub summer camp advertisements go out here in the next couple of weeks, and registration open. So that's a testament to the volunteers stepping up and getting these events going. And John, thanks to you for taking lead on the night hike too as well. And it's all happening in the Olympic district, so I thank you all.
Well, I hear we're a happening place. All right. So on that note, just kind of before we wrap up here, because we're coming up pretty close to our little timeline here. I want to thank Mark Daniel. Sorry, Mark Daniel's over there. There, he's over. He's to my left. uh, so thank you, Mark Daniel. I appreciate your willingness to help with Roundtable, and I appreciate your willingness to lead our discussion this evening. And I think the Jamboree on the Air and on the Internet is a really cool event, and it provides us a lot of unique insight into scouting around the world and helps us to kind of see, we might speak a different language, our shirts might be a different color, but at the end of the day, we all have this little patch right here, and we all are working towards the same sort of ideals in scouting. So I think it's really cool to give the youth the opportunity to connect with these other youth from around the world. So just a couple of kind of closing comments this evening. First of all, thank you all for coming tonight. But I wanted to ask, because technically, according to the calendar, our next roundtable, which is in November, as you may know, as the calendar continues on, the fourth Thursday of the month typically falls on on another day. So I don't know about all of you guys, but I don't mind coming to do a roundtable on Thanksgiving. But I have a sneaky suspicion that the rest of you may have other plans that evening and probably don't want to spend it hanging out with all of your best friends in Olympic District. So I just want to put it out there to the group, since you guys are all here, you get to speak for the different units. Would you guys prefer that we do it on the third Thursday, or would you prefer that we do a bigger bang in December? Well, those are kind of the options I'm kind of looking at right now. Definitely open to suggestions. Oh, I got a vote from Scott Smith for December.
We talking in person or?
I don't know. I do have a little bit of lead time, so I might be able to come up with something clever. Oh, I got another vote from Matt Beauregard for December.
In person, wear your Christmas sweaters.
Ooh, I do have some sweet Christmas sweaters, up to and including a Corgi sweater and a Star Wars sweater. Corgis are my favorite, by the way.
December in person is my vote.
Ooh, December in person. Ooh, maybe I can come up with something clever here for December.
Do I get to vote?
Of course. Hi, Christine. Welcome.
All right. December and in person, that sounds really good. Have a sweater competition.
Ooh, sweater
At
competition.
the sweater competition.
Sweater
Do I have to
competition.
make a black for it?
Sweater competition does sound like a good, fun activity. And I did see the Lewins have voted for the third Thursday. If we did hold one on the third Thursday, would any of you folks be able to attend? Be interested in attending?
I would.
Okay. I'm not saying we can't do both because we could definitely do both. We could definitely do the third Thursday and then also do an in-person Christmas sweater party in December. For
I would be there.
both? Or for just one?
For both.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So I think, based on what, and Dana has also voted for the third Thursday. But I think we should try to do both. So I will come up with something. Mark Daniel and I will put our heads together. We'll come up with something very clever, very fun, and exciting for December. And then I will also come up with something. Uh, excuse me, coughing. I will come up with a clever prize. I do like clever prizes for a Christmas sweater theme party in December. Though that one, let me look at the calendar real quick before I say anything more. That may also fall on a goofy day. Oh, hey, look at that. The fourth Thursday of December is the day before Christmas Eve.
You may want to change that to the third again as well, but that's up to you all.
I think that sounds like a great idea. What do you think, Christine?
Yes, that would be a definite.
So the units 324 actually meet on the third and the first,
second, and the fourth.
Oh yeah, sorry, the second and the fourth Thursday. So if you do it on third, we're more likely to be there. Just throwing that out there.
We did just also right now talk about doing that on different nights. So
we are definitely you know, as you guys probably know, for those of you guys that show up to a lot of roundtables, we are a tight, intimate little group here. So we are definitely pursuing other Thursdays of the month to try and find a Thursday that lines up with more to allow for an increase in attendance. So we are definitely not opposed to changing that, I think. But
John?
Oh yes.
After you in this meeting, can you, Christine, and Mark Daniel stick around? I need to talk to you about Aberdeen Oak William Pack.
Oh yes. You know what? Yes. I'm sorry. I totally misread my calendar because I was reading November when I said that it was the day before Christmas Eve. The fourth Thursday is actually the 28th. Don't mind me. November and December are definitely different months. So, but hey, you know what? I'm willing to try an experiment and try the third Thursday as long as everybody else is okay with that.
Well, if you do the 28th, it's after, and the sweaters would seem kind of weird.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Unless people have New Year's sweaters.
I still think the third Thursday would be better. Even in that week of Christmas, it's kind of people are still out doing and family.
It would put us on the 21st if we did it on the third Thursday of December. Well, that gives us a little bit of space.
So I think we should try and plan it that way.
Let's do that. I'll make sure it is also updated and reflected in the council calendar as well, so that in case we have folks that miss my announcement here in the meeting here, and my YouTube video that's going to be live, whenever we get done here. So, does anybody have any questions I can answer for you at this time, related to any scouting topics, any recharter questions? I hope you guys are well involved in your recharter preparations because as Darren so eloquently mentioned, we would like to see everybody having their rosters submitted by November 15th, which is by my math just a couple of weeks away or a few weeks away. So,
and if you have any other questions having to do with events, be sure to contact John for the night hike. And you can contact either Tim or myself for Klondike if you have any questions. And that is also on the registration.
And I put my email and my phone number in the chat in case anybody wants to get a hold of me. Texting and calling also works in case you guys don't want to email. I respond well to texts and phone calls sometimes, unless I'm busy, which sometimes happens. But
Hey,
only
John,
sometimes.
can you put mine in there too, please?
Yes. Yes. Um, oh, it is on a business card, Sarah. See, I have this fancy Nancy
I
little.
have one.
I know you do. I have the box right here next to the box is right down my desk. So, anyway, so with that, I think we're gonna go ahead. Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to be putting Christine's contact information in the email. Hold on. Of course, I don't have Christine's contact information in front of me right now, so bear with me for just a sec. Stalling, stalling, stalling. Oh, goodness, that's not gonna be faster. I'll go this way. Oh, stalling.
I could just tell you it and you can type it in there.
That's all right. I already got it. I got it. There we go. All right. That's Christine's email, and then her phone number is coming up right now. I just I should have had this pulled up and ready to go, I guess, but
Yeah, nowadays everything's on speed dial, so you don't memorize anything.
no. I don't memorize anything. Well, I never memorized emails anyway, so. All right. So there you go. There's Christine's email and phone number if you guys need it. But with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and call this an evening. And I appreciate all of you for coming out and everything you guys do for scouting and then spending an hour with us this evening. I hope you guys all learned something, had a good time, enjoyed a little song and dance, and we will see all of you back here in virtual land on the third Thursday of November, which is totally a day that I remembered and is actually, excuse me, is November 16th by my math. So thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Just so you know, November 16th is also the board meeting. Not that it affects the district. I probably